Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Big Apple Hockey, where you expect to be seeing me right here in my room. I got this rogue hair that just seems to just want to run away. I have no idea why it's doing that, but it's at least I have no answers for that, and some of my answers for last night's game we'll go over them in a minute. I, of course, am Mark Williams, your host, and uh you know what? Win, lose, or draw, we always make sure we have uh, a post game show the next day when it comes to the playoffs. This one, I didn't think was going to end up the way it was. But before we get into anything, I have to address a situation that happened last night. So here we go.
You don't know what's up. Oh shit! Oh no!
Yo, he fucked him up.
So this happened last night at the game, and happy to know that the guy that was punched refused medical service, so that hopefully that means he's okay, as it was said, I think, on Scott Kaplan's Twitter, and that the guy that did it was arrested. This does not represent us. What represents New Yorkers are the people that stayed there to try to help the guy out. It's moments like that just disgust me. And I can't be clear enough on that. Now, with that being said, because I was just in Tampa and I myself was an away fan. And, sometimes fans will do their stupid shit, smack talk, stuff like that. But you know something? The Tampa fans were all welcoming with me, pretty easy when your team wins. But there were no incidents. It's just kudos to all the people that were trying to help him out. And that's what we are. We're New Yorkers. We're not only tough up here, we're tough down here. So, everybody that helped him, good, because that did not look good in any way. Obviously, the Lightning took a 3-2 series lead over the New York Rangers, and we're going to go through some of my notes on this, but man, this game did not feel like it was going to end up this way. The entire time I kind of had a positive feeling about it. And then, you know what? Like I said in the preview, if you don't capitalize on what the Lightning give you, they're going to make you pay in the end. And they did. All right. So, by the way, the first period, the refs made it clear they were putting their whistles in their pockets the entire game. There was a non-call on Trouba early on, and even there were a couple penalties Trouba got away with. So, especially one big one that we're going to get to in a little bit. And by the way, I'm going to get to your comments as soon as possible. Let's got to get that on there. Now, there was I think 3 power plays in the entire game, 2 by Tampa, 1 by the Rangers. We're going to get to those a little bit more in a second. Oop. I wanted to add that to the stream. I didn't want to put that in just yet. And then I went right back to it. All right. I am, of course, on the ball so far today. But it was very clear that they weren't calling shit the entire game. So that's where it's all right. Well, that actually I think would benefit the Rangers. You get away with a little bit more. But both teams very defensive in the first period. The shots on goal were minuscule. I think Tampa had 3, and I think the Rangers had 7. Tampa did hit 2 posts, but the Rangers were the better team in the first period. And then, I'm being joined by Mr. Anthony LaRocco right now. Anthony, how we doing? Oh, I put you in. There we go. Anthony, how you doing?
How's it going?
Oh, not bad. I showed that video of the sucker punch. And
yeah, that was terrible. That was
Yeah.
disgusting.
that does not represent New Yorkers.
No.
No.
I'm glad that clown got shackled, and hopefully, he has not a fun future ahead of him, whether it be penalties or whatnot. But that was gross.
I mean, and you could always say you don't know what happened beforehand, but it just looked like the Tampa fan was just talking some smack, and
Yeah,
he just didn't like it. But what does, like I said before, what does represent New York? It's all the fans that came to that guy's aid.
yeah.
So
That's very true.
that's what we do. So
First off, I like surprising you. You weren't expecting me again, were you?
no, and I'm more than delighted for you to come on.
Keep you on your toes, Mark.
That. It's a lot better than for everybody to hear me talking to myself.
Yeah. Well,
The first note that I had was it was clear that the refs were going to put their whistles in their pockets for this game. And that's what you got from the first period.
yeah. I
Like
would say
literally,
so.
it would have taken that punch that we just saw to get a penalty called. So going on to the second period, though, and when there were penalties called, I thought the Keandre Miller penalty was kind of weak, and then the
to me
Rangers
that looked like a good stick check, but I mean,
he
sometimes
just reached. How do you have a one-handed hook?
yeah. You know what it is?
All right.
A lot of times from the ref's angle, if it looked like his stick got in on his hands, depending on where he was standing, that could have played into it for sure. But I thought it was a little ticky-tacky.
Now, so the Rangers and Tampa exchanged a pretty toothless power plays on both of them. The Rangers really weren't much of a threat. I even think the best chances were on Tampa's side, and Tampa didn't generate anything except a Kucherov one-timer that Igor Shesterkin easily predicted on their power play. And then right after that power play expired, Ryan Lindgren just throws the puck on goal, gets the first goal of the game. Sergachev does the same thing at the end of the period. So
yeah, I thought Lindgren's goal was a lot softer. I mean, that was from a wide angle, kind of like the corner. Had no business going in. Vasilevsky really should have stopped that. At least Sergachev's was from straight on the blue line through the screen a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't think Shesterkin saw it.
Oh no, you could see in his reaction, he never saw it. So, but then of course, this was just a number that jumped out at me. I just went, you got to be kidding me. But Tampa through the first two periods, 77% on the faceoffs. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, listen, faceoffs is a very underrated part of the game. And when you have that much success, you're gonna have more possession. Rangers have to be better in that regard.
And now the one thing positive to say is they finished at 56%, but that's because the more faceoffs you take, the more odds can drop down. So that's number that's still way too high. By the way, we're going to get to all your comments in a minute. But Anthony, we talked about this in our group chat. Actually, you and Phil Groy talked. I rolled out of bed. But Anthony, this is the one that hurts. Ryan Strome plus open net equals joke.
Oh my god!
Like, if I thought the Rangers generated a lot of high quality scoring chances in the third, and let's get to this, Anthony. We've all played hockey. What the hell is he doing right here? His momentum is still going below the goal line.
Yeah,
and he can't stop. B, it didn't look like it was deflected, so it was right at him. And yes, I've been in situations where I missed that, but I'm also not a professional hockey player with a chance to go to the Stanley Cup Finals on the line.
That's very true. I mean, it seems like he has a propensity for missing open nets. That shootout against Detroit and Thomas Greiss, where he had the whole net and he yawning cage and he missed. But yeah, that that play might very well come back to haunt the Rangers, depending on what happens.
We could talk about Game 3 all we
That's-
want,
Yeah.
but this one play now magnifies everything so much more.
Yeah. Well, absolutely does. If he puts that in, it's a different game. I mean, it's egregious. He has to finish that. And you know, listen, I know, you know, we can't get on him after all. You know, we're here and he's in the NHL, but still, I mean, you gotta be able to put that in the net. You just do. There's no way around it.
Fortunately, I would say the first person that would tell us you got to put that in is Ryan Strome.
Yeah.
I'll say that he'll be the first one to tell you. But but no, that's Patrick Nemeth could have finished that.
Yeah.
So,
I think Strome's on is going to have a new address in the offseason. And not just for that, but I think he's got to have a new address in the offseason. And it's not going to be New York.
yeah, and I have made it no secret that I would not re-sign Ryan Strome. I made it no secret that if I was Chris Drury, I would move on from Ryan Strome.
No, I mean,
but
let somebody else
Yeah.
pay him $6.5, $7 million. Like, I don't know, a team like Ottawa or Buffalo or Seattle, let them throw a lot of money at him.
it's amazing because I think those three names are probably three names that he would end up getting $6.5 to $7 million from.
Yeah,
But-
absolutely.
Not from a contender.
No.
Not from a contender. That's for sure. And then, all right, we're gonna have to get to the moment that just kills me again. The longer this game stayed tied, you had the feeling something like this was gonna happen. Puck hits Ondrej Palat in the knee. Rangers lose 3-1 after the empty net.
Yeah.
Anthony, your thoughts on the game first before I get into reasons why Ranger fans need to have some hope.
So wait, say it again.
I want your thoughts on the game first before I give Ranger fans a reason to hope.
Well, I mean, it was, obviously a pretty close and even game for almost the entirety of a full 60 minutes. Just, once again, the Rangers, like in game 3, where Tampa Bay scored the winner with less than a minute left. That was game 3, right? Yep.
Yeah.
So similar situation, under 2 minutes to allow the game-winning goal. And those type of situations are heartbreakers. And for a fan, that's like the thing I hate the most. Like if the Islanders let up a goal where you lose a game in the winding minutes of a period, it's always the worst feeling. And in a playoff series, it's even worse. And especially when you're at the conference finals, it stings even more. I mean, just think how the Panthers felt against the Lightning when the Lightning scored that game-winning goal against them. I forget now. It was just a couple of ticks left in the clock, maybe 5 seconds left. Tampa won the game. Yeah, those situations are brutal. It's it's hard to come back from. But for some hope, it was a well played game. The Rangers were in it. I thought it was tight checking. The referees did let them play with a couple of bad calls on both sides, but my biggest reservation is, and we talked about this before the series, is that you didn't want to get into a situation where you're facing elimination against this team, because as we all know, Ondrej Vasilevskiy is superhuman in elimination games. The guy's literally a brick wall, and it's unfortunate because I don't know. It's tough for me to say that the Rangers are going to be able to beat the Lightning back to back when they had a chance to put the other team away. They're the back to back champs for a reason. They know what it takes. They know how to dig deep, and they're experienced. They know how to finish teams out and close them out. So it's going to be really hard for the Rangers. And it doesn't help that they have to face Vasilevskiy at home too tomorrow, because that's even more of an advantage for him.
Now, let me just start by, we didn't close on one thing. Because Cora, you just mentioned Trouba. This was another slide that I had to show. This is Jacob Trouba basically trying to headhunt and missing. And You can't have that. And
No.
I don't know what's worse. Is it good that he missed or worse that he missed?
Well, definitely
So,
good that he missed. If he connected, Palat's in serious trouble, and maybe Trouba's
I'm glad. I know. I'm glad that he didn't connect, but I meant also you're talking about suspensions. You're talking about so much more.
Yeah,
Like
and
just
that right there also gave fans of the Hurricanes and Penguins some more fuel to the fire, because I saw them commenting, mocking Ranger fans. I was saying, "Oh, Trouba doesn't, Trouba's not dirty, or Trouba doesn't, lead with his elbow." You can't deny that Trouba had his
right there he
elbow.
led with his elbow.
It was extended, and the intention was pretty clear. But not a good look. But I do agree with Philk. Philk was saying Trouba's been a disaster this playoff series against Tampa Bay. He's struggling. I agree with that. I haven't liked Trouba's game at all this series. I don't want to say liability. But he's been pretty bad.
He's been kind of the weakest link.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I guess that's the way to put it without being insulting on him. All right, Ranger fans, let me give you a couple reasons to have some optimism. One, the Rangers are 5-0 in elimination games this postseason, and both wins on the road were facing elimination. So that's one. Ondrej Palat is like the Terminator as far as closing out teams. But let me give you 3 instances, and Anthony's going to remember 2 of them, where he couldn't close out teams even in home games. I had to put that in quotes because 2 of them are in the bubble. Game 5 versus the Islanders, Jordan Eberle's overtime winner.
Yeah.
And Game 5 versus the Stars, Corey Perry's overtime winner, his now teammate. The other one, of course, Tampa taking a 2-0 lead on the Islanders last year at Nassau Coliseum. As soon as Eberle scored the first goal, I joked with a friend of mine, well, the Islanders are going to win because Vasilevsky can't get a shutout now. Bang, Scott Mayfield ties it, Beauvillier wins it. So it's not impossible to do this.
But here's the caveat to that. In all those instances, he came back and closed them out on the second try.
Yeah, so, I know. That's not where I wanted to be either.
Yeah.
God damn it. So there's a lot that can happen. But again, we've all seen Igor Shesterkin being like a brick wall. So who knows what Igor is going to be like in this situation. Igor could be matching them just safe for safe, but you got to make sure that you're getting in front of the net. You got to make sure that you screen so that way you can't see things. And if a puck goes in off your shin pad, there you go. That's the difference. So I got to call out a couple guys. I got to call out Mika Zibanejad and Chris Kreider. Artemi Panarin looked like he was at his best last night and just not getting any help from Kopp he got help from Kopp on the goal that Strome should have gotten. So let's get to your comments on these guys. Nick is not that happy about that. I'm gonna have to cherry pick some of these. They got 74 comments. Yeah. By the way, I just want to say this. Congratulations to Philk on the new job. I echo that statement. You know what? It's just Trouba's here the next 2 years, Anthony. I know. Yeah. By the way, David, this is what I was talking about. They let a lot of stuff go, like a charging call where you nearly took a guy's head off. Oh, Anthony, where's the Hawk?
What?
Where's the Hawk today?
I switched it up.
Oh, all right. Well, that was me last night. I really didn't even drink it all during the game or anything, and then suddenly I had to have a couple drinks. I mean, I was working. Can't really go that nuts. What do you think about the Rangers scratching Ryan Reese? Anthony,
What?
what do you think about the Rangers scratching Ryan Reese?
I don't mind it. I mean, he's been a leader for you guys overall. I think helped the morale of the team, but in this series, I think you know, him in the lineup doesn't really match up well against the style that Tampa Bay plays. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that he's sitting.
Yeah, that's right. And by the way, Big Daddy right here, you're right about that one. The more I see of the play of Goudreau, the more I think he's earned every single penny, and I hope that's going to be the case. It's not going to be all. He's got a 6-year deal, right, Goudreau?
Who? Yes, 6.
Barkley Goudreau, 6.
Yeah.
He's not going to earn it all 6 years, but because they gave him term. But who the hell said sign Evander Kane? Absolutely not. I would not want Evander Kane anywhere near my team, regardless of what team that might be. By the way, Anthony, speaking of which, Justin Vasilevsky, where do you think Evander Kane is going to end up?
Well, it seems like his Instagram post sounded like almost like a farewell message to the Oilers and their fans. So I get the vibe that he's going to test free agency, and you know that's a good question. You know, I think he proved himself enough to some executives how he was on the Oilers that you know he's worthy of getting, you know, somewhat of a, you know, longer term contract, and that he could be a good person and, you know, more importantly, a good player for whatever team he signs with. So I think he's going to get a lot of offers, to be honest with you. I just don't know where I could pinpoint him right now, but he, you know, he's a big body that could skate and he could score. So, I mean, teams are looking for more of like a power forward type fit. They're going to be interested in him for sure.
You know, the one thing that I often have to say about him, he's a good soldier his first year with the team, and then once he gets paid, he is a problem. He's a headache. I think people are going to see that. I just don't. I don't know where he fits, because you had guys from San Jose that was reported last year that they were willing to get traded themselves, waive their no trade clause.
Yeah.
Just not play with this guy anymore.
It seems like in Edmonton, he was a good soldier for him. So, you know, you got, like I said, you got to give people the benefit of the doubt. And I think that's what's going to happen here.
I think he had to be, though. I think he absolutely had to be.
Of course he did, but you still got to give him credit for doing the right things and such. So,
you know, I'll give him credit on that. I'll tell you this. One thing I will absolutely pray to the hockey gods for is that wherever he goes, Tony DeAngelo is on the same team with him. That would just be, I mean, yeah. I would get the popcorn and just watch that all day just to see that locker room with those two. But yeah, Lindgren has been the only consistent D-man this entire series. John, we're going to find out that Adam Fox is definitely hurt, and everybody's hurt. The story I always keep bringing up is the Chris Drury in 2009, but
everybody's banged up to an extent when you play this far. So, yeah,
like we found out about Leon Draisaitl basically playing on one foot.
I played with a high ankle sprain ever since against the Kings. That's brutal.
That's very brutal.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not as bad. Like, how often do you get a high ankle sprain in hockey?
I mean, I think it happens more than you think.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it was baseball, it's a different story. I mean, I've had a high ankle sprain. Oh God, yeah, that hurts.
I'd rather truthfully break the ankle, because at least once the bone heals, you're good. High ankle sprains never truly goes away.
It's unbelievable. By the way, everybody always remember to like, share, or to subscribe, and also hit the bell, get all the notifications. Regardless of what happens with this series, we are going to be covering the Stanley Cup Finals and also start providing some offseason content. We got a lot of stuff that's coming on for that.
I mean, you're talking.
We will be doing team previews and team reviews the entire
draft.
offseason.
The draft is July 6th. That's less than a month away.
Ooh, July 6th.
Yes.
Wait, that's a Wednesday? Draft is on a Wednesday?
I'm pretty sure it's July 6th, and then free agency is July 13th. So we're about a month out.
Wow. Because July 4th is a Monday. I know I'm working that. And I know my dog is barking because the wind is blowing. Yeah, you gotta love your dogs. They got July 6th. And why do I have your birthday as July 6th? I gotta fix that. I have your birthday as July 6th on my calendar.
Wait, July 7th. Sorry, July 7th. The draft is July 7th.
Oh, that's still a good thing. But all right, so May 6th. There we go. All right, let's fix that one. So, all right.
Marcus.
Marcus is a name
Marcus
for perverts
Mariota.
and weirdos. But I mean, yeah, Sean, you're kind of right about this one. By the way, I have no idea why I can't okay everybody on the Big Apple Hockey group page from my mobile. It's just stupid. But I don't see a package the Rangers can put together to get Patrick Kane. And again, if you do, then what's the point of having a Lafreniere and Kakko by this time? They can't afford Kane, both from the contract. I know what you mean. You'd have to do massive amounts of juggling. I just don't think it's going to happen. And I think you said it on the show after Game 4 that he's still going to command probably about like $9 million a season
on his next contract.
No yeah,
depending on
premier player.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. There's a lot of.
I think the Blackhawks are more likely to trade the Brink.
Keep going.
He's listed. I saw in Frank Ciravelli's off-season trade targets, guys who could be moved. He's number one. And I also was told that New Jersey is already talking to Chicago about a potential DeBrincat deal, because you remember Tom Fitzgerald said New Jersey's open to trading their second overall pick. So that's kind of a win-win for both teams. The Devils get an established 40-goal scorer, and the Blackhawks get the second overall pick, which will help them a lot in their retool.
Mike, I'll fix this right now. By the way, for anybody that's been having trouble with the Big Apple Hockey Facebook page, my apologies about that. First off, by the way, Facebook and I have not been getting along the last few months. That's just a different story.
So basically, I'm intrigued by that. If the Devils are offering the second overall pick, the Rangers can't do anything to beat that, nor could the Islanders. I mean, unless you give up a massive piece. So, unfortunately, I think the Devils have the leg up on any of our teams in trading for Doc right off the bat.
Sorry, I had a booger. So, it's. But again, it's also like, how many more pieces do you think you're going to want to put in place that are big marquee pieces, when what they need to do is they need to fill out the rest of their lineup? They don't need their superstars are already set. You have their number one power play unit. And I think if you start getting into guys that you're not using to their full potential, you end up getting another Jacob Trouba. $8 million for a second pairing defenseman. That's what Jacob Trouba is. And
I thought we were talking about Alex DeBrincat here.
I know, but if you get Alex DeBrincat, then where are you putting him? If it was the Rangers, where are you putting him? Islanders is easy.
Well, clearly, you put him on the first power play unit and then worry about other things later. I mean, he's a 24-year-old who's already scored 40 goals twice. You know, he bumps off whoever you have there. No question about it.
I mean, the only person to bump off is Ryan Strome.
Well, I mean, that's not a problem because Strome's not going because Strome is probably not going to be re-signed. So there you go.
Yeah, all right. Well,
but again,
I still think you need to address second line center more than Alex DeBrincat.
No, yeah, I agree with that. And like I said, I think it's moot anyway because you know, New Jersey, like I said, New Jersey has that second overall pick they could dangle to Chicago, and that's a piece that they would probably prioritize over really anything else that the Rangers could offer. So I don't see that happening.
I mean, we could imagine swapping Strome and DeBrincat, but that's not going to happen. I mean, there's more of a chance of us getting I just said us. Trying to get away from saying we and us. But
Yeah.
There's more of a chance of the Rangers getting Dylan Strome than Alex DeBrincat. But again, you know, but that's the thing. This team needs to address what that second line center is going to be, and I don't think Dylan Strome would be the answer either.
No, I don't think so. You could go after Nazem Kadri.
Yeah, but I think that's going to be a guy that's going to command a
he's
huge
a career year
contract.
Yeah. Or Vinny Trocheck.
But Richie, I understand what you're saying right there, but forwards don't exactly clear the crease. That's defensemen. And next year, Keandre Miller is going to be bigger, stronger, add more weight to him. Maybe that'll be him. Schneider with a full season under his belt. Lindgren, of course, will still be there. But hey, Anthony, I think you addressed this in the last show, but it's the question that's right there again.
I don't necessarily think he's built for the playoffs. He's not, you know, he doesn't have that bite to his game. And I liked his game yesterday, at least in regards to, you know, how he skated and created. But I still don't like the way he defends. And I still think there's some, you know, kind of like just laziness sometimes in his back checking and his defensive awareness. But yeah, you know, the cliche is you need your best players to be your best players. And Artemi Panarin's capable of controlling a game. He hasn't controlled the game for the Rangers.
No, that I do have to say. And as often as I use the phrase, the other guys get paid too, guys. But I'm going to get the John Kim's comment right there. But that's been the reason why they're looking at the films. Good teams will look at film and then figure out how to take X player out.
Mm-hmm.
As I had the burp because I drank water, so that made sense. But like that's why you get situations like Chris Kreider sort of being taken out of the game because they basically looked at the film and said, "Well, if you eliminate Mika Zibanejad, where's Kreider going to go?" Kreider's not a guy that just gets the puck and tries to skate end to end.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Kreider's the guy that finds open spaces.
Yeah, he doesn't really create offense on his own. He's not that type of player.
And I'm gonna get to a couple comments that are down here. The Rangers need to make a move for a serious second line center, but again, look at their cap situation. That's where they're gonna have some trouble because they decided to pay all their superstars, and you got a guy that was supposed to be a number one defenseman who isn't the number one defenseman, and you're paying him. So
that's the problem. A second line center, a good second line center is, you know, anywhere probably between, you know, $6 million and, you know, and up for a second line center. The Rangers only have $7 million of cap space right now. So that's with having to, you know, re-sign certain guys. So that's the issue. Mm-hmm. That's the issue at hand.
Now, again, they're still playing games right now. They could play they're playing at least one more game.
Yeah.
So there's still reason. And I talk about a team that's unbeaten against elimination. So it's still reason to have some hope. I'm not saying I'm not beating the drums to make it a Messier guarantee, but I mean you're down 3-2 to the Penguins, who had a 2-0 lead. You're down in that game. Then you're down 3-2 to Carolina, who looked like they were ready to snuff out the Rangers, and the Rangers played their best game of the playoffs. And then, you can't beat them at home. Then they beat them at home. So it's a lot of stuff that all of us as fans and wannabe pundits look over and go, this can't happen. And then they play the game and it happens.
I admire all that, Mark, but doing that against the Lightning, who are back-to-back champs, is different than doing it against the Penguins and the Hurricanes.
Much different.
It's just the reality of it. But yeah, that's why they will play the games, and we'll see.
But also another reason why Kreider's been invisible is because I think Ryan McDonough's been on him. I have to double check some of the game film on that. All of Tampa's goals came with major traffic in front. That is true. And as well as, but I just don't think you need to get a Mark Borowiecki or Nicholas Delorier. They got guys in their system that can do that. Schneider's going to end up being a more physical defenseman. So, best part of Nostrom all year, all those passes to no one will be gone. Oh, God. I don't want to pile on somebody. Like, Anthony, I always joke around about this. Every year with every team you ever could root for. I'm going to put on my fan hat for a second. And I always say there's one guy you can look at and say, get this guy off my team. Just absolutely get this guy off my team. Who's yours for the Islanders last year?
Andy Green.
Okay.
Good guy. I just hated seeing him, mostly because I was bitter that he was playing over Robin Salo.
Yeah,
Robin Salo at this point should be playing over Andy Green. So that's what the majority of the reasoning was. Not that Andy Green was pitiful, because he was at least serviceable at times. I just thought Salo should be playing.
Yeah, and I just said it as well. It's Ryan Strome to me. Ryan Strome to me is where you look at a friend of yours or a family member, you see the person they're dating, and you just say, you could do better. He's fine, but you could do better. John, back to what you're saying with this, Kreider's size and speed is such a waste that he doesn't drive to the net more often. I do agree with you. He needs the puck to drive to the net. The one thing I got to commend Chris Kreider for this season, and I still have the video that I need to make for him in the offseason. It's supposed to be 2 months ago. He's gotten away from that wrist shot that he would take from just outside the circles, and where you're basically just giving up the puck. And he's got a good wrist shot. It's just with that, then it became playing more inside the house and gathering rebounds. And the guy's got a goal in the series. The Rangers don't have many people that have goals after game 3. They got Panarin, Lindgren, Zibanejad, and Kreider. That's it. David, you're right. The buyouts basically cost the Rangers a second line center. Yeah. Everybody's unbeaten against elimination until it actually happens. And no quit in New York. I love seeing these. Thank you very much. I lost my place for a second. Sorry, guys. But that also, by the way, that's you guys were talking about the buyouts in the comments. Buyouts are a real issue, and Bailey, you're right about that, because every time you're buying out a player, it goes against dead money. And the Rangers' current buyouts, Anthony, their current buyouts are Dan Girardi, Kevin Shattenkirk, and Tony DeAngelo. That basically equals $5 million.
X the Wild and how buyouts can negatively affect you. They're going to lose Kevin Fiala because of it.
Yeah.
That's
and but the worst part about it is, can you imagine having to stare at those numbers for the cap penalties and just say we're better off dumping two very good players? There's Suter is a better player right now than Parise is. Not slamming either guy. I'm just saying Suter is a little bit more what he used to be. But and Zach Parise is a good player too. I mean, God, he would be a no-brainer on the money he's making with the Islanders. But
yeah, 15 goals for league minimum. I'll take
$15 million in cap penalties, and you looked at that and said, "Yeah, let's pull the trigger on this."
Yeah, and that, like I said, now it's going to cost them Kevin Fiala, who, 85 points in career year, and now he's going to go somewhere and be a great addition for whatever team that is that trades for him.
I know we said elimination games; they're actually closeout games for him, and I gave 3 instances over the last couple of years where he did not finish the job, and he also didn't finish the job against Montreal last year. Let's not forget that one. But yes, you're getting him at home. I understand. So, Rick, I understand Pittsburgh wasn't a 2-time Stanley Cup champion. It was still Sidney Crosby, who was a 3-time Stanley Cup champion. And most of the players on that roster, except for Tristan Jarry, were still holdovers from their.
Yeah, but not even close. Not even close in terms of.
No, I mean, come on, not even close to the current one.
Yeah.
So all the buyouts, try to skip through some of these. We're going to go a little bit fast today. It's we're going to try to do about an hour, maybe a little bit more than that. The Rangers won't keep Georgiev, so I'll take cap off. But right now he's not on the cap for next year.
But they still they still need a backup goalie though, so that's going to cost them at least $2 million maybe. Let's just say.
Let's say it's a veteran who's just on. And not so much a PTO because goalies really aren't on PTOs, but let's say it's a veteran that just comes in cheap, or I don't think Tyler Wall's ready.
Even a cheap veteran is going to be $1.5 to $2 million. So
yeah,
and it would be extremely risky to just go with a young guy like you just mentioned, because if Shesterkin gets hurt, then you're really screwed. So I think they're going to just sign a veteran backup. Most likely, it's what they're going to do.
Anthony, I just want to address this comment. Whatever happens in Game 6, it's been a great season. Glad our kids got the experience, especially against the 2-time champs. I'm accepting of them losing to Tampa Bay. I have no problem with that as a fan. But trying to look at this through a broader lens and saying you had them down 2-0 in Game 3, and as much as I give Tampa Bay credit, you can't help but say there's a wasted opportunity here, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're up 2-0 in Game 3. I mean, that would have been all she wrote. But like I said, they're still playing, 1, so you never know. But then 2, secondly, even if they do lose, I mean, any Ranger fan, even if you were the biggest homer in the world, to say that you would have had them in the conference finals, that would have been a stretch. So you got to be happy with what transpired this year, and just hope that Chris Drury makes the right decisions for the short term and the long term, and that they can have success for many years to come. But like we talked about last week, you never know when it's going to come again. When you're going to get this far. Obviously, there are going to be changes, so you just don't know. So, but as for now, I take it one game at a time.
And that is what matters. Take it one game at a time.
Yep.
And the players are going to be thinking the same thing. Mika Zibanejad, I know a friend of mine ran into him in Tampa, and he just apologized and said, "I'm sorry. I got to make sure that I'm focused on these games." And now it's up to Gerard Gallant to make some. Yeah.
So the goalie you guys are talking about right now is Dylan Garand, the guy you drafted. But
yes,
I'm telling you, it would not be wise. So I get it cap wise. You know, if you have a rookie goaltender to say he's on an entry level is making, you know, 900,000, it helps your cap. But two things. One, then, you know, you may burn out Shesterkin by playing him the majority of the games. And then two, if Shesterkin does get hurt, now your backup goalie is a, you know, rookie goalie with very little experience. And for a team that, you know, wants to make the playoffs and go far again, that could really derail a season. So I think that would be a poor decision making by Chris Drury. I think the play is obviously part ways with Georgiev, and then sign a cheap veteran backup. And I don't sign Braden Holtby for $1.5 million or $2 million, or sign Casey DeSmith for $2.5 million. Those would probably be the better options. I would not go with a guy like Wall or Garand or any young goaltender like that.
Right, because if you get a young goaltender, then generally speaking, they got to come in and I think younger goalies always need more playing time. I think older goalies know their routines and just know I need to be over there.
And also, we saw that. Well, actually, not right now, because I was gonna get into this, but if they traded Semyon Varlamov where I was going, then yes, they would be. But right now, the point I was going to get to was, look how many teams in the regular season and these playoffs had their goaltenders go down, and it just goes to show how important depth goaltending is. And the comment just me made was going to bring me to the point where this is where some Islander fans are having discussions and debate about, yeah, if we trade Varlamov, you save $5 million against the cap. But then if Sorokin gets hurt, you know, who's your backup? So it's this what this playoff showed me is the importance of having a reliable backup. So again, for the Rangers to kind of save cap and go with a rookie, I wouldn't recommend it.
Now, when you're talking about that, this playoff showed you about having a reliable backup, not necessarily the Rangers, more Colorado showing you that you need to have a reliable backup.
Because Pavel Francouz, he's not a bad goalie. He's a legitimate, you know, serviceable backup in this league. I almost dare to say that he's almost at that line where, you know, he could be a 1A or a 1B or a starter for a little bit of a lesser team.
I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to go to the one above that too, Anthony, which is but we stopped the Lightning streak of never losing 2 in a row. We can break Vasilevsky's elimination game streak. I don't see us losing 4 straight. I just don't. You know what? And very well, the Rangers can easily just put forth your best game. They went from their best game being Game 6 versus Carolina, to Game 7 versus Carolina, to Game 1 versus Tampa, to Game 2 versus Tampa, and then, you know, wheels fell off the carts. However, let me get to this one right above it, which is nobody thinks Hedl could develop into a serviceable number 2 center. I actually think he can now. I think you might want to give him the reins next year.
I didn't like how he looked in the regular season and how he played. He's been better in the playoffs, but again, shouldn't get too low during lows and shouldn't get too highs during highs. My point is, yeah, he's played good right now in the playoffs, but where was he? You know what I'm saying? I would want to see a larger sample size before anointing him as a second line center or saying he could produce at that position.
Yeah.
So I would be a little hesitant based on a good stretch.
Tampa Bay is playing like Tampa Bay. Always love seeing the flags. Do you guys think there's any chance Ottman gets called up during the season next year? I think Ottman might be starting with the Rangers next season. That's what I actually heard. It's Trouba. Oh, sorry. This is the get this guy off my team. This is back with those comments. Dom, but we're family. We have to stick together. So, I just skipped ahead. Oh God, no, Rick. The answer is no on that one. I just saw bring back Talbot. Nope. Nope. Be in the same situation. Jesus Christ, I just jumped ahead. Anthony, go ahead. Bring up a thing.
What?
Go bring up a quote.
This one.
Oh,
that one made me laugh. Yeah,
yeah.
that's the Lightning. You got to give them props. I mean, what they're doing right now. If they win and advance to the finals, just being in the Stanley Cup Finals 3 years in a row is really unheard of in this cap era. You got to tip your cap to Tampa Bay, John Cooper, Julian Breezewalt. He's made some good decisions, and I mean, if
Well, if it
Mark,
wasn't for Steve Yzerman getting their whole base,
Mark, if
we
they
wouldn't be talking
win,
about this.
if they win 3 in a row, you got to say they're obviously a dynasty at that point. I would say 3 in a row classifies as dynasty. And the fact that they did it now as opposed to when the Islanders and the Oilers did it in the 80s, I think it's even more impressive. I'm an Islander fan. I'm admitting that.
Now, by the way, this is what happened at the end. Stamkos spit at Laffy.
I saw something on Twitter about it. I mean, it looked like he might have, but
Nah, that's ridiculous.
You ignored my
Especially
question,
from a
Mark.
guy.
I'm offended.
Oh, what?
You ignored my question. I'm offended.
Oh, what was the question?
I said, do you think the Lightning winning, if they win 3 in a row?
Yeah. No. That's a tremendous. To actually win 3 in a row is a tremendous accomplishment. I mean, hell, doing 2 is fine. And I still look at the Blackhawks and I refer to them as a dynasty, even though it was 3 and 5 years. Because actually it's 3 and 6 years because LA was able to win 2
in between,
and Boston won 1 in between all theirs. I think that was close to the modern day dynasty that you're going to see because salary cap restricts what you could do.
No, exactly. That's why if they do it, to me, it's more impressive than the Islanders and the Oilers winning all those cups in the 80s because it's hard to keep a team together because of the cap. And, they've managed to do it thus far.
Now, Chris T, wow, 100% right on this. Now,
speaking of,
I think the Rangers should, by the way, absolutely keep Tyler Mott.
It seems like Braden Point's return is looming. I mean, I would imagine if he doesn't play Game 6, he'll definitely play Game 7.
Yeah, and I think I'd hold him out of Game 6, to be honest with you. The one thing I could say that is underrated and undervalued in this whole dynasty run for the Tampa Bay Lightning, I know I mentioned it in one of the broadcasts over the last couple of days, but John Cooper is
out-coaching Gallant.
He's outcoached everybody that has come by him since Tortorella. And then he got to outcoach Tortorella in order to start this run. So it's John Cooper he's got that calm, steady hand. They never get too high. They never get too low. And I've said this before. I'll say this about the Rangers. First, I'm going to say this about the Rangers, and I'm going to lead back into what Tampa has. The one thing I said is keep your mental game. Don't get too high. Don't get too low. The Rangers might have a chance to win this series because Tampa is going to get their breaks because Tampa now, mentally speaking, knows how to get those breaks.
Yeah.
They didn't get them years ago. They blew that 3-0 lead to Columbus in Game 1 where it looked like they were going to wax them. And then after that, just Tampa's been this different team, mentally speaking. And Cooper, even in the 2015 run and 2017, he's been very, very calm about it.
Yeah.
Now, again, let me bring up another bright spot. Barry Trotz was looking for his first Stanley Cup. They were down 3-2 to Tampa, and the Capitals won 6 and 7 to move on. So it's not like Tampa is bulletproof.
Yeah, but that was before
I know it's
real
before.
run here. So Mark's digging, he's reaching for something.
I'm reaching for as much positive vibes, Big Apple hockey as I can.
You gotta give Breezewalt. I know Cooper deserves credit, but you gotta give Breezewalt credit too, because I think we can all agree that the loss of Coleman, Gord, and Goudreau, their third line that was so instrumental in their 2 cups, they were a little bit of a different team. And then he acquires Hagel and Nick Paul and forms that similar third line that they had the last 2 years. That's a great pickup. And you talk about how he gave up a first for Hagel, but those moves are paying dividends because Nick Paul, I thought Nick Paul has been a really good player for Tampa Bay this series.
Oh God, yeah.
He hustles. He's scored goals. And those are the type of players you need on a third line role where you could shut down another team's line, but also actually provide some offense for your team. And Nick Paul and Brendan Hagel, along Ross Colt. I know they had to get away from that line because of Point's injury. But those 3, they are really paying dividends. So kudos to Julien Brisebois because he recognized that the team had a gaping hole from those prior 3 leaving, and he filled it.
And I think all of us predicted that Tampa was a winner on the trade deadline. I know Philk was high on it because I had the clip when we started the playoff preview. But I think you were high on it, and so was I. I mean, Nick Paul has been a great addition for them. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you look at first off, by the way, no matter what any Ranger fan might want to think about this series, Tampa just snuffed out the Florida Panthers in the President's Trophy winning team, and they did it like that. They didn't even think twice. Yeah. The Rangers had at least something going in their first couple games. Tampa made their adjustments. Question is, can they get it back?
Now here's the thing when you talk about Tampa and going forward, and again, I know you pump the brakes a little bit. They still didn't even advance to the Stanley Cup Finals, but if they did the trick and they won 3 in a row, then obviously the mindset is for them is, win 4. But now the problem is Palat's a free agent in the offseason. Can they keep Ondrej Palat? I don't know if they can afford to keep Ondrej Palat. And that's a big hole in their lineup. So I don't know.
I think because also somebody's going to hand him a huge contract.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised. I keep talking about a team that's going to make a lot of free agent offers, and that's the Detroit Red Wings, because I think they're going to make a big splash with a coach. I think Yzerman's going to move away from rebuilding this year. That's what I honestly think. They're going to get a good coach. They're going to add some veterans in there, maybe even some high-priced veterans. And that's why I think Palat's a guy that he drafted who he can identify as, and he is a clutch player.
Yeah.
And Palat has scored the second goal in Game 7 versus the Rangers in 2015. I run out of superlatives for these guys because they are that good. Now, again, there's still games that have to be played. You still have to win that 4th game. Everyone always says, what, Anthony, about the 4th game?
The hardest to win.
A 4th game is the hardest one to win. So, again, I'm grasping at straws, Rick. You're right about that one. There are so many straws that I'm grasping at.
Another thing about Tampa Bay is, and I don't know how you feel about Steve Stamkos. I know the whole spitting thing. If he did it, that's disgusting. And he could be a little. I'm not gonna say he's dirty, but he could. He plays on an edge. But not only is he really really skilled, but you got to admire his will to win. I saw a tweet yesterday of one of his shifts at some point last night, and how he threw his body in front of some pucks to block some shots. And really battled for the puck in the defensive zone. And it made me think, would you guys see Artemi Panarin diving in front of a shot to block pucks? And that's the type of player I think you need to win right now. And I'm just singling out Panarin because, we talked about him before.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see Panarin doing what Steve Stamkos did, paying the price to win. And that's what you need on your roster this time of year. You need guys that will pay the price to win. And it's one thing, like obviously guys like Tyler Mott, Barclay Goodrow, Ryan Lindgren,
where that's their roles.
they will pay the price to win. But when you see the skilled players doing it, that buys the whole team in, and that can really power you. So Stamkos doing that. Kudos to him, and it just goes to my point. It just goes to show how dedicated and how everyone on that team is really buying in to keep their their run going. Because when you win 2 cups in a row, yeah, I think it's natural maybe for some guys, especially when you're down, to be like, well, we had a good run and kind of like mail it in, so to speak. But that's not the case with this Lightning team. They're still playing like they are trying to win their first cup. So kudos to Stamkos and for kind of taking the lead on that.
Now, also, it goes back to the story that Phil has told on this broadcast many times, and we'll go right back to it. Going back to your boys who had the dynasty in 1983, where they won their last cup, and Wayne Gretzky, after they got swept, is walking by the Islanders locker room, expecting them to be
bruised and cheering and
happy.
really
Instead, bruised,
Yep.
ice packs. They're absolutely just sitting there, just going, oh, just like, and then you realize that's what it takes to win. And once that switch goes off, your teams are usually better. I mean, the only team that really hasn't taken off like that since kind of the Washington Capitals. They've kind of been one and done every single time that they've been in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, like, I forgot the Capitals were in the playoffs this year. No. But Wicked, you're right about this. He changed around so much, and yes, they have so many late round draft picks. That's what development does. You can identify somebody's talent. Coaches could then coach them up and develop them. And yes, Bobby Ganushi writes, they need more players, star players, to do what Anthony just talked about. But again, that's something you end up seeing it, and then it inspires you to go off and do better.
So Mark, I got
Yes.
a breaking trade for you, actually.
Oh, okay. What do you got?
From Kevin Weeks, who loves to do this, and he's been spot on. Kevin Weeks, breaking news. I'm told the Buffalo Sabres are close to acquiring Ben Bishop's contract from the Dallas Stars in a salary cap move.
Interesting.
So similar to how the Islanders traded them Johnny Boychuk this season, taking on a contract of a player that's done. So it looks like the Sabres are, I guess, concerned about reaching the cap floor, and will use Ben Bishop's contract to do it. So we'll see what they had to give up to take Bishop's contract, but nonetheless, Kevin Weeks breaking a trade.
Well, and by the way, how about, and I understand what you're saying with this. I still respect Tampa, and I'm going to have probably the same hate for them that Islander fans do soon enough. But it's, Pat Maroon. Anthony, by the way, Pat Maroon, if the Tampa Bay Lightning can close out the Rangers and beat the Avalanche, he'll win the last 4 Stanley Cups and on 2 different organizations.
So Bishop had 1 year left. This is his last year on his contract, making $4.9 million. So Dallas frees up $4.9 million of salary cap space.
I'm surprised it's only 4.9. I thought he was making more than that. I was making it in
No,
the 6s.
Yeah.
But
4.9.
Where the hell? My comments are just getting all messed up. They're never built stats against the Rangers. That's right about that. Can you see any player on the Rangers standing up and giving a speech that needs to be made? Barclay Goodrow. He's already done it. And you know something? I think, Anthony, you brought this up, referring to the Islanders during the year when they had some tough times. But one thing that gets these elimination games going is when you start looking around the room and saying that this might be the last time all of us are going to be together. And that does kind of give you a little bit extra fight. And because Ryan Strome isn't going to be here. There's a chance Tyler Mott might not be back. Frank Vetrano. There's some guys that they might like it here and want to stay. So that might help it too.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think they recognize that they have a special group in there, and they recognize that it's a business and people leave in free agency, get traded. So I think they want to do it for one another. But again, you have guys in the other room across the hall in Tampa Bay that also are saying, all right, guys, let's not let our foot off the gas. Let's close things out. And again, they know how to win. So you're going to have two very hungry teams. You're going to have two very hungry teams. And it should be a good game. It really should.
I haven't said it in a while, but everybody make sure to smash that like button. Boom. But yeah, it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be, I hope it's not going to be a walk in the park for Tampa. Just Vasilevsky is the best goalie in the league, period. Yeah. Because Igor's got to learn how to be that playoff goalie. It sounds like it's a little bit of heresy to say that. And Igor is that playoff goalie. It's just, it's life lessons.
I got another tweet here from NSG, Madison Square Garden. It basically says that they've banned the guy from last night for life.
I often wonder how you ban a guy for life at a sports stadium.
Well, because they have his name. So obviously if he goes to buy tickets through the team, that wouldn't be allowed. And I guess even secondary market, I guess even if they bought it on StubHub, I mean, I don't know. To me, it seems like it would be hard, but nonetheless, he's banned for life. So we'll see.
Yeah. By the way, I know everybody's been talking about this. I was going to ignore that. The Igor's better chance is it hasn't really aged well. Well, it's not because of Igor in this series. Igor's played very well. However, I do have to say, you want to know a chant that hasn't aged very well. Harvey's better to Steven Strasburg. That one did not age well. Hate him all you want, but he scores big goals. I'm assuming you're referring to either Pat Maroon or Ondrej Palat. Ondrej Palat's always scoring big goals. Future Considerations has been an elite player for a while. And there's a lot of those Future Considerations that are just catching up. You know what, Bobby? I don't think it's 100% true on that one. I think the Rangers' youth has not made it that much of an issue. The D has been letting Igor down. Yep. Oh, God. Yeah. And Bobby, I agree with you on this one, though. And please let Tampa lose if they beat us so Corey Perry can lose in 3 straight Stanley Cups. Oh, he's on his way to pulling off the Marian Hossa. Unfortunately, Hossa won his 3rd shot at the cup in 3 straight years. But yeah, Corey Perry. Ugh, Corey Perry. Future Considerations must rent and never buy because the guy is constantly traded. The reasons why we aren't winning this, Tommy, right back to you. The reason why we aren't winning this series is because we can't execute and we need to. We haven't learned how to close games out. Both come from experience. Barclay Goodrow has never been down in a series as a member of the Lightning except down 1-0 to the Islanders. Yeah, but Barkley Goudreau gave that speech before Game 6. All right, there you go. Needs to walk into the Game 6 with those 2 rings and be like, "You guys want these? Let's go win 2 more games." And also take a cue from their head coach. Gerard Gallant never gave up. And I know he's all smiles on the podium, but he's that guy. There's a reason why there's a reason why Steve Yzerman's jersey was always clean once he got around there. All the speeches in the world aren't going to help you miss great scoring chances. Yeah, but it might help you focus. It might help you just be inspired. Because, Johnny, we can't always say that because, after all of us Ranger fans want to credit the greatest guarantee of all time. It really is. The Mark Messier guarantee is the only guarantee to me. Joe Namath's, he won Super Bowl MVP, but I don't even think he had a touchdown in the game. And I mean, there's the only other guarantee I could say is Jimmy Johnson, when he was on the radio before playing the 49ers, and he said, "We will win the ball game." You could put it in 3-inch headlines. We will win the ball game. And then they went out and they absolutely crushed the 49ers. That was the 93 NFC Championship game, the 93 season, I should say. Well, goddamn, boys, I'm happy that you guys are alive. Had a rough night. A ceiling fan in my room that had holes. Oh, yeah, that sucks. Sorry, Scarecrow. And yeah, Bobby, right about that one. Strom is not. Oh, that is the worst. Especially if it was the heat that you had recently, that we had last night. Oh, terrible. But again, here's the hard part about, I would honestly lose Kako and Heedle if you could keep Kopp and sign a 3C. But is Kopp really a true 2C? That's where one of the problems comes in. Pull Anthony out for a little bit. Yeah, and also John D. Lee, who was very big on getting Andrew Kopp at the deadline. But Andrew Kopp has been a shade of where he used to be. Yeah. By the way, I still can't believe who sucker punches somebody like that. And that kid's been into a game. It's even worse. Yeah, and I love my pictures on my wall. Oh, sorry. This is referring to the banning. But yeah. Yeah, I have a picture on the wall where is that the guy? I always wonder that. All right, let's get a little bit further ahead. But by the way, I would love it if the Rangers could have a guy that everybody's saying, "Nah, that fucking guy." All these boys aside from Kreider stepping up, because Zibanejad feeds it to him to get a good bounce. They haven't gotten a good bounce yet. That's right, they haven't gotten a good bounce. They've had no puck luck. Absolutely no puck luck in this series. Kavanaugh sat the kid line for better matchups. Kid line is the only line that's outmatched the Lightning almost every shift. Not sure almost every shift. The Rangers started off with a lot more zone time. We're going to skip past the Brinket stuff. Yeah. Perry won 2007 with Anaheim. And then he won an MVP. I'm not a Corey Perry fan. At least Hossa was likable. That is correct. I just want a second line to shoot the puck. Everything towards the nets. Second line is on the ice. They overpass. Then they turn it over. Then they come off the ice for their shift. one more time, I'm going to throw it up there because I'm just still so disgusted. I was going crazy at the bar when I saw this. And I was absolutely livid because he's still skating below the goal line, or towards the goal line, I should say. Like, where are you going in this moment? I just still don't understand it. If he stops even one stride higher, puck's in the net, and the Rangers are playing to go to the Stanley Cup. Instead, they're barely holding on. No cop is a 3C and get a real 2C. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. I mean, Mark Scheifele could be that 2C, but and then you have insurance for when Zibanejad's injured and stuff, but because usually Zbad's got an injury that usually he has as he's out for a week, but Canes, Rangers, Penguins, Capitals, all these teams have nothing to be ashamed of in the playoffs the last 10 years. Warren, that is 100% right. The Penguins and the Capitals, though, I think the Penguins haven't advanced. I think either the Penguins and the Capitals have not advanced other than the years that they've won the Cup since 2014. The Penguins made it to the second round. 2015. And since I said the Penguins and the Capitals, now it's 2015. So I have to fix that. But yeah, they've had a lot of playoff success. Look, you want to watch your team as long as you can. It's just that simple. We're going to go about another 10 more minutes, guys. Everest, how we doing? Cop has caught Hudson River disease. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Rich. I got to look at more of that. Fortunately, I was running around for a minute. So I missed some of. I heard about him getting spat at. That's not a good thing either. Kids brought real energy. Even when they make mistakes, they hustle to create other opportunities. Yeah. And speaking of which, Adam Fox had a moment last night where he gave the puck away to Anthony Cirelli and then hunted him down until he got it back. You lose the puck, you get it back. That's actually what one of my coaches said to me. Tommy, I forgot if that was Bill, but Bill was a good coach. Bill Lange was a good coach. I also think Lafayette is going to come out with a fire under his ass. I want to see him pop off. He's got to get another goal. It's been a while. Yeah. Well, by the way, I'm going to get to Rick's comment also up here. Yeah, but that's what you got to do. And then, but again, the most physical defenseman we've had possibly, well, I just said away again, in the playoffs, arguably is Jacob Trouba. And all of us want to get rid of him. But Strome has been missing open nets all season. Yes, by the way, Corey Perry is the guy, you love him on your team. You hate him if he's not. Yep, that's exactly the reason why. John Kim, I'm going to go back to this one. I know Blaze has been out all year, but I'm sure he would make more of a difference on the ice than Rooney or Revo. Yeah. Yeah, that's if I know they said he's a long shot, I would not be surprised if he plays. I was excited when I heard Revo got scratched, thinking they were going to play Blay, but no. Scheifele doesn't know what defense is. That is correct. I did not know about that. First off, I didn't know they had like a war for defense. Never mind a war in the NHL, but he's a -2. That is defensively speaking. That's the worst of the NHL. I would start getting Kakko, Kravs, and Blaze do contract and move Nemeth. See how much money you have and try to fill out the roster. Kakko could get you something. Kravtsov could get you something back. And even that Kravtsov could actually potentially be a contributor to this team. Yeah, Everest. No, I heard Stamkos spit it off. One of the guys reported that earlier, and I'm just gonna go and try to see if I can confirm that. Tommy, yep, great coach, good guy too. He used to come into Croker's a good amount. Haven't seen him as much in the last couple of years. Need to get on the coach's skin early in Game 6. He gets stupid and pissed off. Yep. Not as bad as Malkin, but he's close. Well, by the way, great. Oh, how about that? All right. Sean said he saw the spit live. So I'm going to go with that. I'll probably look at the replay tonight or not tonight, this afternoon. Pretty sure they're doing it. Let's see if I can find that. I don't want Perry at all. People say the same thing about Marchand. I'll take him immediately in a trade because he has good value, and then you'll be happy to see him in a Rangers jersey. Case in point, here's another guy everybody hated except when he wore your jersey, Sean Avery. And hell, the Esa Tikkanen was another one. There's lots of that. But back to this, though, I think Ryan Miller deserves his number retired by the Buffalo Sabres. No, I don't think it's suspendable. I think it's finable. Yeah, he turned down a contract, so he's going to be coming over to the NHL. And here's the thing that I got to say for Vitaly Kravtsov. Come in, show that you're a good team player, be on your best behavior, and just put everything forward and be your best. And if you have to go down to Hartford for a couple weeks, you do it. Because every day you act a little bit like this or like a, you know what, because I don't want to condemn him completely because I understand where he's coming from. He was told he was going to have a roster spot, and then the Rangers basically didn't give it to him. But so as soon as he comes over, just put your best foot forward because every day you're not, someone else is putting theirs. And Brendan Ottman right now looks like he might be the real deal. So, Igor's better chance still has life. How many times was Vazzy shit in Tampa early in early runs? This is Igor's first playoffs in his career, and I'm gonna say it is his first playoffs. I don't count that bubble crap that they had. Let's give him a break. Rangers offense isn't helping either. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's right. Yeah, you have one in a while when the Tampa Bay Lightning fans are chanting 1994. Oh, yeah. But I mean, of course. Okay, Stamkos spitting is on YouTube. Okay, great. Wow. Yeah, that is a strong one. But like I said, we're dedicated to try to cover the entire league, not just the Rangers, not just the Islanders. And we're gonna be doing some post-game chats or at least some post-game videos for the Stanley Cup Finals. If the Rangers don't make it, if they do, they still got 2 games to play, guys. So and you got to be thinking about it. That's 2 games to play until I don't think they could do it. So as much as I've said before, I am not going to count Tampa out until there's 1 second left on the clock and the Rangers are up 10 goals, but not the case. I'm still going to believe the Rangers have something left. This magic carpet ride has been great so far. And if they do win Game 6, seriously, look out for them because now momentum goes right back to them. It just takes one of those moments. It's all it takes. Yeah, well, Vazzy does wear big equipment. Because if you looked at the picture when he was shaking hands with Simeon Varlamov last year, yeah, a whole lot of years of being a Ranger fan has done. It's just, I agree with you on that. But I like to see Gallant play head games and have Vasilevsky's pads checked. Good. I just think that every head game you're going to try to employ, John Cooper has a way around it. Jesus, my hair is like trying to jump off my body right now. All right. Well, I'm going to end the poll right here, guys. 56 votes. The New York Rangers, will there be a game 7? 54% say no. And it's understandable. I get that. But right now we got 36 that are in the stream. Go another, I'll say another 5 minutes. Finish it off at 2:30. But Mac was always chippy with his stick, or is it the new thing he's picked up? No, I think Mac was always a little chippy. I should have a video coming out about my experience with Tampa, which fortunately there was no point where I was ever sucker punched. Again, all credit to the New Yorkers that rushed to that guy's aid, because he was knocked out before he hit the ground. So he probably has a concussion on top of that. And everybody that's making sure that the guy ends up, I think I heard fans ran over to help identify the guy, which no, don't guarantee a victory. That'll fire up Tampa. Because speaking about a team that didn't know how to win yet, the Devils. And they had guys, they called Lemieux, who already won a Stanley Cup. So Mac was always chippy with the stick. The king of wearing big equipment, PK Subban, especially with those large shoulder pads. I think the king of wearing big equipment was Garth Snow. Garth Snow looked like the abominable snowman. What was my earliest Ranger memory? My earliest Ranger memory, I'd say, would be Mario Lemieux scoring a couple goals in the 88 playoffs. Might have been the 89 playoffs. I think it was the 89 playoffs. That was kind of my earliest memory, because then after that, because I was always a baseball kid. Baseball was the only thing that mattered to me. And then I watched Poised for Glory, which was the video yearbook of the 89-90 Patrick Division winning champion New York Rangers. So, and that's where I got Darren Turcotte as one of my favorite players of all time. Yeah, 94 run was great. Oh, Anthony's back on.
Mark, it's time for you to call Lou.
Oh, it is. Oh, it is definitely not. Oh, by the way, Patrick, yeah, welcome to the show. I think this is the first time I have you on. So, but no, I would love to call Lou, but I just don't. I don't have the number. I don't know where it is.
Oh, you have it all right.
Oh, I have it, but
ask him what he's thinking. Ask him what he's thinking, what his plans are.
Barry Trotz has many fans. Lou tells no one of his plans. All right, here's an impromptu. Here's an impromptu poll. I'll throw it up there since everybody wants it. Oh, I gotta wait a second for my keyboard to get back on. Let's see how many votes I can get on this. Should Mark call Lou? Oh, we got 5 minutes. We got 5 minutes. If that could get to 100 votes, then maybe I would still not consider.
You gotta do it.
Yeah. Touch lane baseball fields. All right. Yeah.
If anything, maybe he won't answer, and you could hear his voicemail. Which even that alone would be pretty funny.
Oh God.
But knowing him, he probably doesn't even say his name in his voicemail.
No. Barry Trotz has many fans. Lou tells no one of his plans. So, like, share, and subscribes. Yeah, maybe we can actually get Lou on. That would be much better.
Yeah,
I wonder.
I think if I emailed Kimber and asked about Lou coming on, I think he would automatically say no.
I love it how we just got up to 40 people as soon as we put this poll up. And whoever said no, thank you.
The only really outlet whoever you see Lou do an interview with is like NHL Network, or occasionally he's been on with like the Sportsnet guys, but he doesn't really do anything else.
See, you know what? Because he'd be a guy I'd love to interview for a lot of different reasons. Because I think Lou has been one of the most influential off-ice people for USA Hockey in the last 40 years.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at some of like what he has done for USA Hockey, whether it's some of the guys he's drafted or just the diamonds in the rough he found, Brian Rafalski, Andy Green.
Oh yeah, he'd definitely be an interesting person to interview. Well, I told you the story about when me and Phil covered the 2018 draft in Dallas. At the end of the draft, Lou came over to where like the gate was separating the media and the floor, and people were interviewing him, and I got in on the scrum. And I asked him a question, but it was terrifying because like when he kind of like looked my way for like my turn to ask the question, for a minute I just totally stumbled my words, and then I pulled a mark, and then I kind of composed myself. But yeah, and if we're lucky enough to have our credential approved for the draft this year, Mark, we may run into Lou again. In which case, even though I'm an Islander fan, I will hand those reins over to you, and you'll be forced to ask Lou a question at that point.
And you know what's going to happen? It's going to be, hi, Mark Williams, Big Apple Hockey. I just wanted to ask you, Big Apple Hockey, you're the idiot that called me thinking you were Morning Seaway.
Yeah.
And then it's just going to be, next question. All right. Oh, man. But yeah, he would support local guys about that, so that would actually be a good thing. And I think if you actually gave him the parameters and let him know what the interview is going to be, I think he'd be fine. But as I voted, hell of a fucking year, yeah. Oh, hell fucking yeah. Oh no. See, that's what happens when you read things a little bit too quick. But all right. So guys, we are going to close it out. I'm not calling Big Lou.
Damn it.
But anyway, David Quinn, Mark voted no in all of his alternate accounts. David Quinn, maybe getting a shot somewhere. I would love to know whoever wants to shoot themselves in the foot, even though there's so many. See, all right, Sean, I got to highlight this one. We're here with Justin Lamorello. Oh, damn it. But guys, again, thank you very much for joining us. And no matter what, there will be a show Sunday afternoon. Hopefully we can get the Triforce back together. If not, I know I'm starting.
It's gonna be hard because Phil's new job is 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. It's gonna be hard for us to carve out a time where we can do a consistent one, the three of us all together.
But that's where it's great to have all of us together. But you know what? We got a good roster of guys to go with. So it's, even if we mix and match, it's fine to do
I know, but it's not the same.
Yeah,
as
I know.
Doing so
yeah, it's doing it where it's all three of us, where we get to have a lot more fun doing the honest press conferences that Lou is still hanging up right over us
Yeah.
right now. Let's take him down. All right. But guys, thank you all very much. This is always great to do these. And you know what? We got at least one more game we have to cover. I'd like it if there's 2 minimum, and then hopefully, who knows? Colorado Avalanche. We're going to be getting guests. We're going to be getting guests again. So, and that's where the good thing is.
I'm the guy that wrestles in the guests, and it's just been hard because we haven't had like a set time where I can email the guests that we get on and ask them, can you come on at so and so time, because it's not been set, so it's been hard. Like, I don't want to look like an idiot and tell someone, oh, we don't really know exactly what time. So if Mark can let me know about a set show that's going to happen every single week at a certain time, like clockwork, then I can start to get some guests again. So that's on you, Mark.
I know we're gonna start getting back to a set show now that we don't have to. I'm gonna correct that sentence before I finish it. Once we're not set on our post-game shows, we will get back to a set show where we'll be talking to guests again. And I can't wait for that because, like I said, Anthony does such a great job booking all his guests. So, but again, guys, thank you very much. And I'm going to do some more talking with Anthony right now. And we're going to run. Everybody, there's still at least one more game. And you know what? I think there's going to be 2 more. I'll come out and say that. There's my guarantee. I'll make a guarantee. It's going back to New York. So everybody, just enjoy and let's go Rangers. And where's my mouse?